the wildest nights. Wild and Ramble. Yeah, we're taking you back. Metal hearts and a wild soundtrack. Ren and Frank, we got stories to tell. On Spotify, YouTube, crank it to hell.
We have to get everything.
All right,
checked
Frank.
out,
All right,
tested.
Frank. All right, Frank.
Okay. All right.
Hello, everybody.
Check. 1 2 1 2.
We're live right now, Frank. By the way,
1 2.
Frank, we're live.
What?
I don't know if you're live. We're live.
What?
We're live right now. Welcome to another
Serious?
podcast
Jesus,
of Rock and
dude.
Ramble, where we talk about everything from the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, and all the way up to today.
Yeah.
We were just talking about, we're just talking all about sex and we're making our drinks.
Cheers.
Funny thing is, we were going to talk about Ace Frehley, who we're going to talk about for sure, because Ace Frehley was a founding member of KISS.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, passed away recently. We kind of decided to put this podcast together as opposed to doing our Vegas podcast. This is going to be some serious, a lot of fun and stuff. But back to the sex part, dude. The nice and slow and easy. Or the
slow and easy.
Or the fast and hard.
Slow and easy, probably. I don't know.
Take me down
The
slow and easy.
jury may be out on that one. I don't know.
It's possible.
And it's male, female. You know,
I think Whitesnake had
personal preference. Maybe
Whitesnake had their personal preference.
No, well,
They went with slow and easy.
They did. They did go. Slow
They didn't
and
go
easy.
fast and hard. I think I would say Steel Panther's probably fast and hard.
Well, 100%.
I'm just saying, fucking those Asian hookers and stuff.
Well,
Yeah, well, that's what we're talking about.
but they do have community property.
They
which
definitely
is,
do.
You know,
They definitely do. And if you've never
for
listened to
those
Steel,
you guys out
if
there
you've
that know
never
Steel
listened to him,
Panther, oh my God!
if you've never listened to him, you got to
If you
put it on.
haven't listened to Steel Panther, you guys, you've got to listen to them. They're just a riot. I mean, and their songs are great. The musicianship is fantastic. But also, if you haven't seen them live, go see them live. They're so
comedy
much
show.
fun, dude. It's like a parody of rock band, like 80s rock band, but they're fantastic. They have their own shit, and they do covers. Ralph sounds like spitting image of David Lee Roth.
It does,
Fantastic.
for sure. Well, I came from Atomic Punk, so that was a
Right,
great,
that's true,
a
from
great
Atomic
gig for him for
Punks,
some years.
yeah.
But the cool thing about Steel Panther is that the funny thing about them is that they are not only is their music funny, upbeat, and something that's rock and roll.
Yeah.
But if you listen to the lyrics, dude,
Oh, they're hilarious.
You have to actually sit down.
But they're actually really well thought out.
Oh, they
for
are.
Sure.
They are for sure. And the thing is, if you are into, I don't care what you're into, rock and roll, country, rap, if you're going to a rave, you're getting fired up. You throw on some community property with some Asian hooker. Do you really, really love me? You put one of those songs on, dude. You listen to the lyrics.
How about Fat Girls?
Oh,
Sorry.
It's
great.
You are gonna be partying. Fuck the anthem songs. Dude, community property is a fucking anthem song. Is it not?
It's great.
It's a great song.
Yeah.
So anyway,
and by the way, for all of our friends that are out of the state in different areas, regions or whatever, Florida.
How about the friends that are out of their mind?
Pennsylvania or Texas or whatever. Steel Panther goes all over the place. They travel. They tour. They do all the the touring in different states and stuff like that. So you have an opportunity to see them outside of just California.
What about our friends that are out of their mind? They could see them too.
Well, of course. That's always a possibility.
Yeah, they're probably traveling right now in some Asian country trying to get the Asian hooker. I'm going to assume that's my assumption.
I'm assuming that's what they're talking about.
I'm assuming Ralph or Michael Starr is out there trying to get a little bit of Asian hooker.
Japan.
Yeah, why not, dude? Yeah, absolutely. So, hey, we're here with a podcast. It's unfortunate it touches the community of the unfortunate passing of one of rock legends, Ace Frehley.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
We definitely talked about. We had the podcast about Ozzy. They're really two totally different sides, right? I mean, Ozzy Osbourne was probably the Prince of Darkness, the legendary rock and roll from all the way back in Black Sabbath to when he performed his own music through Ozzy. Mm-hmm. People looked up to him. They were the founders of the style of music that turned from
Sabbath,
the heavy metal
of course,
into hair metal and on and on. Where Ace was one of the original founding members, unfortunately the first founding member to pass away from KISS.
Yeah.
And the youngest, which is the weird part too.
Which that surprised me too. Yeah, it is.
He had his biggest problem was his walking. I mean, that was really an ability of Ace, well known. He had a hard time walking, even wrote an album and a song about it. He just unfortunately wasn't exactly the most graceful on his feet. And that's unfortunately what killed him. It wasn't a stroke. It wasn't a heart attack like a lot of things you can read out there.
Right.
It was an unfortunate falling 2 fallings. The first one, he got lucky. The second one, unfortunately, he fell down some stairs and did some damage to his head. Hit his head multiple times on the way down, from what I understand, and did damage that was irreversible.
How old was Ace when he passed?
I
He
believe
was
74.
That's what I thought.
74 years
74,
old. So,
yeah.
and it's definitely an unfortunate situation when somebody
yeah.
passes. And for us who are slightly older by just a couple of years from you young punks at 21 years old, but just being a little bit older, we do realize and recognize that we're getting to that age too as well. Not just these guys. These were the people that we looked up to.
Yeah.
And some people even the same age, or some like Ace, a bit older than we were. But these are still, we looked up to them. We still want to go see their shows. It's really a sad moment because Ace Frehley, like Ozzy, where a lot of people followed Ozzy's music, a lot of guitar players followed Ace's guitar playing.
Right. But that's the thing. We talked about this before, right? Where, if you were to say, okay, who's your favorite rock band, right? Or you give me your top 5, or, Kiss, nobody says Kiss. Nobody would say, oh, who's your top guitarist? Nobody would say Ace Frehley. Nobody would. Nobody would do. But Ace Frehley was a great guitarist.
I think that
he just didn't. I don't know why. If it was because the Kiss thing and whatever, I don't think he really got the props that he should have gotten.
I think Kiss, unfortunately, had the Kiss Army for a certain amount of relevant years, and it faded off, and Kiss never really got the stature that they had, and where they were back. I don't believe that they got it back after, unfortunately, it had passed after 10 years together.
Right.
Ace was there's a lot of guitar players. You could talk to a ton of accomplished guitar players nowadays from bands, people like Slash, that would say Ace is the father of this music and the reason I picked the guitar up.
Yeah.
And that part stems deeper than just our conversation, because you and I talk about it and you're like, well, Ace Frehley was cool. He was the first guy to freaking put smoke on the guitar and light it on fire and do all kinds of cool shit.
Right.
And be able to physically play the music he played, and the solos are legendary.
Yeah.
I got to give the guy props.
Yeah.
I'm not going to knock the guy in any way, because he's a phenomenal guitar player.
But I'm going to tell you right now, because obviously with Kiss, 3 chords, all that kind of stuff that they got knocked for. I think his best work was actually with Frehley's Comet, when you really got to hear Ace's true guitar work.
But that was really his own music.
But that's what I'm saying. That's when he got to be himself.
Yeah, of course.
And write his own music and do his own thing, right? And that's where, honestly, I think his guitar work really shined.
I think it uncaged the artist within himself.
100%.
And that's, I think, what the biggest part is, that some guys just don't have that. They're kind of... Here's a perfect example, and we talk negatively of him all the time, but Vince Neil. Nicky Sixx wrote the music, he wrote the lyrics, and Vince sings it. Now, did Vince partake in some of it? Of course he did. But majority of it was done by Nicky. So when Vince did his own album, that's his true impression of himself. Now, you might not like him. The expression of who he is, you might not like that music. You might not say, oh, you're invited but your friends can't come is not a song I like. But it's who he really is.
Right.
And that's the part of David Lee Roth and Van Halen. That's the point of all the artists that we talk about when they left the band and did their own solo artists. The same thing with Ace Frehley. And we talked about this a little bit. Frehley's Comet, actually. Ace Frehley left Kiss. It was his first album. They wanted to call it Frehley's Comet.
Yeah.
They wanted to call the band that. Unfortunately, the record label felt it was best to put the album out under Ace's name, because nobody's going to know who Frehley's Comet is. Who's going to know it?
Well, exactly. And nobody knew that. So
They did. It could be any band, right?
Yeah.
But even with his name in there, so they did it under Ace, and then they called the album Frehley's Comet. That's how that ended up happening from the very beginning of time. It was going to be called Ace Frehley's Comet.
Frehley's Comet.
Now it's Ace
But
Frehley.
now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I think I read this. When they did their individual albums, Paul did his, Gene's did his, Peter did his, Ace did his. Ace was the most successful.
I was going to say hit a home run on this, and you did.
Ace was the most successful out of the 4 individuals that did their own album.
There was some jealousy there, too.
There was. That caused a lot of strife within the band, because they were jealous that hey, look at Ace is fucking knocking it out of the park with his own solo album.
That's very true. That's very true. And the funny thing is Ace's, I think that, God, Ace had a couple hits, nothing really major of the, you write home to mom about of all the songs he had. A lot of great songs if you're into Ace Frehley and you listen to it. I think he was a very accomplished artist. As far as radio play and music, he didn't have a ton of songs that were out there, but he did have...
Well, the most influential songs, I'm going through it right now, that he wrote when he kissed was Cold Gin, Shock Me, right? Rocket Ride, Paradise, and Love Gun. I mean, Love Gun right there and Cold Gin are two classic Kiss songs. And Ace was instrumental in writing those two songs. So,
and to be honest with you, that's really him writing those songs and being part of it. Unfortunately, when you're in a band, sometimes you don't always get the recognition that you need to as an individual artist. And so that's part of the reason why you kind of venture off into your own. Or you get to a part where the band's as large as you are, and I want to express myself solely. I want to go off on myself, and that's what ends up having people, do their own solo albums and still stay within the band.
Right.
Which is a big thing for it, because obviously in his solo stuff that he had.
Well, and I'll tell you this much too. What hit home for me, because obviously I'm of Hungarian descent and heritage. Frehley had Dutch Hungarian heritage in him. So did Gene Simmons. So I think where they grew up in the Bronx over there in New York, there must have been some kind of Hungarian community over there, because obviously Gene and Ace were of Hungarian descent, right? So it's kind of interesting to me, because obviously being Hungarian,
Sure.
I'm like, I picked up on that. Well, that's kind of interesting. I didn't know that. But there must have been like a sizable Hungarian community over there. It's kind of interesting.
And I think there's only, of all of Ace's songs, there's only 2 songs that, unfortunately, through all the albums that he wrote, right? All the albums he put together, there was only a couple songs. The New York Groove was the one that came off of his solo album, which was a big hit.
Yeah.
The most plays. Now, for me, New York Groove was a cool song. I wasn't into it as much. It wasn't my style, but a great song. That was his most popular song of his solo career. And then obviously, as we all know through like KNAC and all those radio stations, Rock Soldier was probably
most heard or whatever.
It was definitely for sure.
Yeah.
Most radio play and everything,
For
all
sure,
the songs.
for sure.
And that's what put him on the map. Now, another interesting thing, and a lot of people might know this and some don't. We all talk about Eddie Trunk. He has a great podcast. He interviews a lot of great artists. He's been friends with some of these artists for many years. Him and Ace were friends for 40 years. Close friends. He actually signed Ace Frehley.
Which I didn't know that. Well, that was interesting when you told me that.
He actually signed Ace Frehley to his contract when he went solo.
Okay.
And they were friends for years and years. And obviously, he pushed through, did multiple albums with them. Unfortunately, in my opinion, Ace that was really Rock Soldier, New York Groove was the real hitters. And I'm speaking not from somebody that listens to all the music, not from someone that's more of a connoisseur of that style of music. I'm talking about somebody that's outside, that's listening to the podcast right now, that doesn't listen to Ace Frehley regularly, but knows the songs that he sings, like Rock Soldier.
And comparing, I get that.
And that's kind of how we have to view artists sometimes in what we're doing as a podcast. We can't talk about the depth. We talked about this with LA Guns, and we talked about Cinderella with Tom Kiefer.
Yeah.
When we went and saw him, how I'm a big LA Guns fan. I know a lot of LA Guns songs, and a lot of these artists, I know a lot of their songs, deeper than what the average person's going to know.
Sure.
But if I'm going to go into all the backstories and all the old songs, unfortunately, truthfully, a lot of these people that listen, a lot of our fans that listen, are not going to relate with some of it.
Right.
So, he didn't have a lot of hit songs, but a great guy. But his musicianship through all of his songs, all the records that he's done, is phenomenal. If you just take a minute and listen to all of the songs he's written, the talent he has, I think you'd appreciate him a little more.
Well, the other thing I was looking at, because a lot of especially these premier guitarists, they collaborate with other either bands or musicians or whatever, and that's one thing I didn't see. He didn't really do much of that, which it's interesting, because I would think a guitarist of his caliber would collaborate more with other musicians, and he really didn't. It's kind of weird.
He was a low-key kind of guy. I think he was, actually, I can't say low-key, because he drank and partied a lot to a point where the record label didn't want to pick him up when he was a solo because of how much he partied, and he had to calm that down a little bit, which is surprising. He obviously wrote a lot of songs, and Gene and Paul are getting all the chicks. Right, so they have their certain stature.
To be expected, by the way.
No reason why. I mean, when you're freaking signing a contract to give me a blowjob, what am I talking about?
Right.
You know what I mean? But I mean, it's a sad
Forget about
moment.
the green M&Ms. I want a blowjob. Pretty much.
It's a sad moment. Unfortunately, we come and we go. That's the unfortunate part. We're here right now with you guys, and you never know what tomorrow is going to bring. We're going to continue this podcast and have a great time with you guys as we're doing it. But we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We don't know if we're both going to be here. We hope we're here. And the same thing with Ace. Nobody knew it was going to happen. It's an unfortunate situation. We lost Ozzy. We lost Ace. We've lost quite a few members over the last probably 2 or 3 years, and deeper than that.
And it's going to continue, unfortunately.
deeper.
You know, let's face it. We got a lot of aging rock stars that, you know, we love, but, you know, it's life, man. That's what happens, man. So
Yeah. Well, we touch on Ace, and we touch Ace. We love you, Ace.
yes,
We do love you. and we
wherever
touch
you are right now,
We're touching
we
you
are
like-
touching you,
like
for sure.
E.T.
R.I.P.,
and our
brother.
golden finger,
Yes.
our red finger, touching you in the sky.
Spaceman.
But on to,
That's Spaceman.
That is Spaceman.
Spaceman right there.
See how, and that's
We
the
tied
thing.
that together.
And that's the thing. That's the thing about it. You know, I listened to a couple of the Eddie Trunk podcasts recently who talks about Ace. And God, Eddie, if you're listening, probably not, but if you are, we love you. You do a great job. Phenomenal. We try to take the lighter side of it a little bit. We don't have the artists that come on and do it. We try to talk about how our time of what we did through the years relates to the average person that's out there similar to us. That's what we try to do.
Right.
And hopefully we're bringing that across to you guys. So there's a lot of artists, unfortunately, a lot of artists that have passed. Mm-hmm. But we still have artists that are alive that are much older, because we talked about this just a minute ago, how we are now at an older age, and people that we watched and listened are our age or older. Mm-hmm. And that, you know, obviously you got guys like Mick Jagger who are 90 years old still out there rocking. And,
Unbelievable.
And very unbelievable.
And by the way, still having kids too, which is fucking crazy to me, but whatever.
He still has fishies that swim is the craziest
Well,
part.
You know, when you got nannies and everybody else that can take it. But
Yeah, but still having
I digress. That's crazy.
still having fish that swim.
I know. That's crazy. What is up with that? Dude, the guy's
how
still
do you
producing.
How do you shoot the goldfish out of your penis
Dude,
at fucking 90?
He's still fucking
What the
packing,
fuck?
dude.
Is that a billboy goldfish? What kind of fucking fish is that, bro? Jesus Christ,
know,
dude. A
dude.
Cosmus?
It
What
ain't
is
no
that?
goldfish, I'll tell you that much.
Jesus Christ.
He's got some swimmers, bro.
Oh, boy. Anyway, so really we're losing a lot of artists.
Mick Jagger.
We're losing a ton of artists, are we not?
Yeah,
We've
we are.
lost quite a few.
We are.
And not only are we losing them to death, but we're losing them to their vocal ability.
Well, the ailments, just in general, right? I mean, we're getting to that point, right? For us aging rockers, all of us. I mean, here we are, right? And this is answering.
I don't know what you're
you gotta
talking about.
answer the call, whatever.
When I sing in the car, I sound great.
No, dude, I feel good too. But I'm just saying, in general, you know, it's like we're not getting any younger, right?
We're not.
We're just not, and that's just the way it is.
And I
So,
think that as far as like the age thing goes, we've already had a podcast and talked about the aging rockers and people that shouldn't sing anymore. You know, whether we thought it was Vince, whether we think it's Axl Rose, whether we think it's Don Dokken. There is quite a few artists that are out there, and one of the most common, the newest ones that have been in the media a lot is David Lee Roth. And that's a tough one to watch, you know. But here's the thing. Would you?
there's the question right now.
Would you
Yes.
pay the money to go see a show of an aging rocker to see him one more time?
It's a great question. So let's talk. Let's
And
dig
before
into
we
that.
dive into that,
Yeah.
here's another thing to think about, and this might give you a little more perspective. If you've been banging a hooker for 10 years and she's super hot, and she was now 10 years older, and her boobs were down to her knees, would you go back for one last one with the memories of what you had previously? You guys all think about that, and then answer your question. This is Jeopardy.
You just dropped the mic on that one.
What do you really?
Okay,
Frank,
that's.
what do you think? What do you think?
First of all, I'm not answering that question. By the way,
Asian
But-
hookers.
No. Okay, but I'm going to talk about the aging rockers. Let's talk about that. Wow, that's a tough one because if it's really somebody that I think can still bring it, you know, to a certain degree. Obviously, you know, as you got old, all of us get older. You know, things change or whatever. I think I would, for this nostalgia standpoint, I think I would pay the money to go see them if I thought that they could still bring it for the most part, and they can perform, and they can give the audience a good show based on what we remember from them, I think I would go to see them. I think I would.
Okay, so here's I have my opinion, and I spoke to a close friend of mine, Bill. Bill, if you're out there listening, shout out to you. We spoke about this exact question. He brought up a very good point.
That's a great question.
So his point that he brought to me was no.
Okay.
And I said,
fair.
well,
That's fair.
why would you not go see it? And he said, because obviously at my age, I don't have a chance to go see 30 or 40 concerts a year. And when I want to pick my concert, I want to pick one that I really want to go see. So if I'm going to go see Guns N' Roses, for example, I want to make sure that I want to see the best performance I can. I understand that. I get it. For me, as you know, we've talked about previous podcasts, Guns N' Roses is my favorite band of all times.
Yeah.
And it hurts me deep inside that Axl's in the situation he's in. I respect the man. I understand the reason he's doing it. To some people, it's not just for money. We can talk about it being for money, but it's really not. It's about how you feel inside and wanting to get on stage. And I truthfully now believe, after listening to Vince Neil in some of his interviews, I don't truthfully believe it's for the money. I think that those guys have enough money. I don't think they need the money. But I think it comes a point, it's like you and I, right? We were both musicians. We both sang in bands.
Sure.
And we talked about this previously. Would you go back and do another show? Would you go back and get together the band?
Yeah.
Would you go on a tour? And, you know, obviously outside of the dysfunctional section of that, which is the biggest part of what draws you away from it, not getting along with the guitar player or drummer or bass player, not getting along with people, you feel like, okay, I'm going to not participate in that for that particular reason. But when you're talking about bands that can barely perform and put it together, and guys like Vince, they need to be on that stage, right? You and I luckily are doing this podcast, and we're enjoying ourselves doing it. And when we feel the need to be together or for us to put together something, we come here to the podcast.
Yep.
And this is our now microphone. This is our moment of our band.
Right.
So I get both sides of it. Personally, I'm going to say I probably wouldn't. And I think I told you before I might. But thinking about it, you know, am I going to go see David Lee Roth on one of his last shows ever? Would I like to be there? Probably. But think of what you put into it. Like we did with Tom Kiefer.
Yeah.
We decide we're going to go see him in another state. Let's just use that. We fly out there. We get a hotel. No, that's not going to be fun.
No.
The going out and drinking, and that's going to be fun. But are we going to be fired up going to the show? Are you going to be like, fuck yeah, I'm going to see David Lee Roth right now? Or is your question in your head going to be, I know he can't sing, and I just hope it's a decent performance? That's the part I want to say. So there's so many artists that are still out there that still can bring it, and new artists that are coming out. We talk about new artists.
Yeah.
Dirty Honey, Greta Van. We talk about all these guys. Gunshine. These guys are the up and coming. So would I rather invest my money in one of them, or would I rather invest my money in somebody that's already made fucking millions of dollars over the years that doesn't really need the money, but needs that recognition?
Yeah.
That's the question.
It's fair. It's a fair question, and rightfully so. And I would say, counterpoint, that Angel and I, my wife, we had a chance to go to Jazz Fest in New Orleans. This is probably, I don't know, 6-7 years ago. And there's different artists because it's multiple genres. It's awesome. If you have never gone to Jazz Fest in New Orleans, highly recommend it. It's just an amazing experience.
I wish they'd do a rock fest. And not to cut you off.
Yeah.
I wish they would do something like this. There was a rock fest in a town like that where just
100%.
bands played in different clubs.
Yeah.
Instead of like where you go to the festival and you got to see the different stages, like having different venues that have like all the bigger artists.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like Kid Rock played, Metallica played. That'd be fucking badass.
Yeah.
Sorry, back to what you're talking about.
Yeah, that would honestly that would be bitching.
That would be killer. Because
that
for
would-
our music, what I
for
believe
what
in.
we love,
Yeah.
for sure. So anyway, we went and there was different bands, different days, and because it was over like the weekend or whatever, so it was a couple of days. But one of the artists that I wanted to see that I've never seen live, I've never seen Led Zeppelin, and I obviously always wanted to, never did. But anyway, Robert Plant was doing a solo gig there, and dude, I got to tell you, he put on an amazing.
He can still
performance.
sing, though.
Dude. He could so fucking sing.
He
dude.
can still sing.
And he played some of the key like just older Zeppelin songs like
Sure.
In the Evening and whatever.
No
and
Quarter, Black
No Quarter, all that
Dog,
kind of, and it was phenomenal. I was in awe, and I was like, yeah, he met all of my expectations and exceeded them. So to that point, I would say it depends on the artist and depends
Sure.
on who you're so like. If that's the like on your bucket list to see that person, that I would say go.
If you
for
haven't
it,
seen
right?
him.
If you haven't seen them,
I think that plays a
then
difference.
It makes a difference.
And like we said, we
Yeah.
talk about all these artists, and all the artists, most of it we're talking about that we feel don't quite have the vocals anymore. We talk about this.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen pretty much all the bands that we talked about. So for me, yes, would I go see David Lee? Would I want to go see Motley Crue? I haven't bought a Motley Crue ticket in years. I haven't bought obviously Van Halen, David Lee Roth. Sammy can still bring it.
Yeah. Sammy can. I go see Sammy in a heartbeat.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
David can't. But God, I mean, no offense, Sammy. I mean, David Lee Roth is my favorite Van Halen. This is a personal opinion. This is a huge debate, right? I mean, is it Van Hagar or Van Halen? Which is better? And Sammy did a great job for multiple years. I'm never going to knock the guy. The Red
5150
Rocker
was a great
the
album,
Red
by
Rocker
the way.
is fucking phenomenal.
5150 is a great
Yeah,
album.
and I would love to go see him. I have not seen him with Van Halen. Believe it or not, through all these years, I've never seen the show. Actually, I can't say I saw part of the show when they played Monster Rock. I saw a little part of it, but I didn't save the whole thing. David Lee Roth to me is just Van Halen, and that's that's some people are going to view it different ways. My wife Lisa thinks that it's Van Halen with Sammy Hagar is better. I like that music. I'm not a David Lee Roth fan.
Yeah.
And I can appreciate both sides.
Sure,
of it.
sure.
I mean, we have our opinions, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But I think that for me to go see Zeppelin, it's a fucking no-brainer, dude.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
To see Jimmy Page on the stage playing again with Robert Plant.
100%.
Now, they could suck, and I could walk away going, fuck, that sucked. I wish it was better.
Yeah.
But because they haven't been around for so long, you haven't seen them playing live.
Yeah.
We went to a show not too long ago, my brother-in-law and some other friends of ours. We went and saw Lou Gramm.
Oh,
So-
my God. Yeah, that's a foreigner.
It was probably... God, it's probably 6 years ago now.
Was he solo?
He was solo. Lisa calls me on the phone and goes, "Hey, Foreigner's playing at the Canyon Club." I'm like, "Foreigner's playing at the Canyon Club?"
Where's that at?
Montclair.
Montclair.
Mon-
Okay.
Yeah, the Canyon Club. We saw him in Montclair.
Yeah, okay,
Montclair.
gotcha.
So and she's calling me going, "Oh my God, Foreigner's playing at Canyon Club." I'm like, "Shut the fuck up, dude. Foreigner's not playing at the Canyon." She goes, "No, I'm serious. Mark's got tickets." And we're going to go. I go, fuck, give me a ticket then. How much are tickets? I'm thinking they're $3-4. They're like $50. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. $50 to see Foreigner in a little club.
Yeah.
She goes, well, then get us tickets. And then she calls me back about 2 hours later after we already purchased tickets. Oh, it's Lou Gramm. I'm like, all right. I mean,
but we're still going to play Foreigner songs.
Well, I get that. But we know where Lou Gramm went with his career. He doesn't sing as well as he used to. We've seen this, and this is prior. So I said, okay, hey, cool. Lou Gramm.
But it's still Lou Gramm.
I said, cool. I'd love to go see it. Never seen him, seen Foreigner many times. My favorite old band of all times is Foreigner. Favorite old band of all times. Kelly Hansen, fucking amazing. Never seen Lou Gramm, believe it or not. And so I said, let's go see him. So I start looking up the YouTube videos, which is probably like looking up if you got a pain in your fucking chest and you start looking on where your fucking car starts knocking. I mean, these are the...
What do you do? You YouTube it.
You don't,
That's what you
don't
do.
fucking YouTube, but I did it. And I was like, I called her and I go, oh my fucking God, Lisa, he cannot sing. It was so bad when I played it for her.
Oh, no.
So bad. I went in there going, oh my God. Really? Well, we'll go have dinner. So we go to the show. John Payne, Asia.
Oh, yeah.
Is opening up. So they open up. Asia plays all the songs.
Heat of the moment?
They play all the songs.
Okay.
Great.
Heat of the moment.
So they all leave the stage. They all come back up on the stage. And they say, we are going to be the backing band
What?
for Lou Gramm.
Okay, this is wow.
And this show is all about Lou. This has nothing to do with us or our band. We are here to support a true legend. And they walk him up.
Wow.
As they're walking him up, he trips on the stairs.
Oh boy.
And he barely makes it up. He can barely even walk.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, holy Jesus, what's happening here?
Yeah, this is going to go sideways fast.
Just like the YouTube video.
Right.
And unfortunately, he proved me fucking wrong. He fucking nailed it, dude.
Really?
It was a great show. Now, I've heard other shows, and you know, you look at YouTube and they always put the worst shit out.
Oh yeah, of course.
And I've heard other shows and stuff, but truthfully, it was an amazing show. I was blown away by how great he sounded. It was. I'm so glad in my life.
And he played all the like the Foreigner songs that you would expect him to play.
And that's what we're talking about, like with guys like Axl, Don Dokken, Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
But if you listen to some of their YouTube videos, you're astonished by the vocals that are actually coming out of their mouth.
Yeah, yeah.
So what's real and what's not? Now, of course, I'm not saying AI is putting this on, but at what point is that band really? You got to see it live. That's why I told you we should go see Don Dokken.
Yeah.
I think we should just pull the trigger and go see it.
Yeah.
Just to see it.
I mean, I love me some Dokken, but I just the stuff that I've heard like about Don and the way he sings and.
But don't we owe it to our listeners?
But we should. We
owe it to the listeners.
We owe it to the listeners to
Because
at least
they
go
need to know.
and check it out. Yeah.
And I would tell you,
Let
don't
them
go
know.
and see this.
Yeah, yeah.
See it, don't see it. Right?
Agree.
Just like fucking Steel Panther's doing. Fucks or sucks.
Fucks or sucks.
Who doesn't like a good fucks?
Hey, yeah,
we
fucks
love
or
a good
sucks.
fucks,
That's
baby.
right
You know what I'm
there,
saying?
baby.
We talked about this already. We
tell
talked
you.
about those Viagra
We're gonna
pills,
tell you.
goddamn already.
We're gonna tell you
We're gonna
straight
tell
up.
and we're gonna get. Maybe we'll get all the different Viagra pills and tell them which one works the best.
Well,
that way everybody knows.
And that's where we say fuck or suck. There
Fuck
you go.
fuck or suck. You can fuck it or you can suck it, baby.
Oh my
But
God.
the truth, you know what? And that's my point is, I would prefer to go see somebody either maybe I have never seen before.
Yeah.
Like I've never seen Dirty Honey. I know you have, but we've talked about going and seeing the show. I've never seen certain bands before. I'd like to go see.
Yeah.
Maybe like when obviously you got your bands that are just phenomenal, dude, that come out. You know, I love me some LA Guns. We're going to go again. We've already got tickets to see LA Guns. And shout out to Michael Alvari.
Yep.
Obviously, he's playing Leather Wolf.
Yep.
He's opening
Which
for the
I'm
show.
kind of excited about that.
Super, yeah.
you know,
Michael's
for sure.
a great show. And he's not in Leather Wolf anymore, but he's going to do his years of Leather Wolf.
Yeah.
Similar to what
And I'm
we
sure they're going to play Leather Wolf songs. I'm sure that he
similar
is,
to the
yeah.
Michael Schenker, My Years of UFO. He's going to
Yeah.
play all the Leather Wolf songs, which will be great. The Street Readies, all the great songs.
Yeah.
And it's awesome to see a couple artists in one night. But
And
LA
especially at the
Guns-
Coach House too, because it's
Oh,
such
it's a
an
great
intimate
venue.
setting. You
It
know,
is.
get dinner, and you know, I mean, obviously, I'm sure many of you have done that, but it's kind of cool vibe. It's a cool.
It
I mean,
is.
the acoustics are good.
It's
so
a sit
good.
down.
It's a sit down.
So
it's kind of
not-
trippy.
It is.
Yeah.
It is a little different.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
people do get up through. If you've never been there, people do get up during the middle of the shows and stuff. But you know, we're seeing LA Guns. I'm going, and I'm hoping maybe you can. You're not sure yet, but I'm seeing Vinny Appice.
Yeah.
I'm going to see him play.
Yeah, we'll see that.
in
Yeah.
the beginning of December. Just see some of these artists that have been out for a while. Now, obviously, Vinny's not singing,
Right.
But he's still going to play all the Dio and the Black Sabbath hits, and whoever singing for him through the concert tour.
Right.
I haven't looked to see who's going to be the vocalist through this tour. But we got quite a few shows coming up that we're going to try and see. I'd rather spend the money to see those than people that I don't feel, and spend the $20 or $50 to go see that show than go spend $500 on somebody that should have folded it some years ago.
Right, right.
It's just a matter of an opinion.
And some of the like newer like bands that we want to see, like the guys at Rattlesnake Suitcase, which we ran into at
Sure.
the LA
These are artists
Guns
a lo-
and Kiefer show that hey, they were totally cool dudes.
And we've never heard of them.
We never.
I had heard the name.
Yeah, you've heard the name. I've never heard their music,
Yeah,
so I'm
I hadn't
anxious.
either.
I'm anxious to see them. So.
Yeah, and they've reached out a little bit. They're playing a couple shows. It's not anywhere close to where we're at. Obviously, if things line up, we'll go and definitely check it out, and we'll definitely put them on the podcast or
Yeah.
talk about it.
For sure.
But some of the bands out there, Matt just went and saw Gunshine in L.A. And loved it. Now I saw the video and I thought they were cool. I wasn't like wow, those guys are amazing. But his view of it was different, and that's the thing. It's like when you're there live and you're watching the show. For me to give you an honest opinion,
Yeah.
I have to be there.
Yeah.
I can't just look at a
100%.
video.
No, I got to
and say,
see it. I got to see it for myself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, we're definitely going to try this 2026. We are putting together a package of shows and events that Frank and I are going to do. We're going to be at. We're going to let you know where we're going to be. Hopefully we see you. Hopefully we can shake your hand. We can say hi. We'll be passing out our cards and flyers. We'd love to, just talk to you about what's going on. That's how we met Rattlesnake Suitcase and some
Yep.
other guys. Just talking and throwing the bullshit around, right?
Yeah, and everybody's so receptive, and we love that about everybody out there that, hey, we all like to talk about the 80s because that's what we grew up on, right? Like we talked about in the podcast, everybody's aging, we're getting all older, but it's love. Everybody loves to talk about the good times, right? And so when we pass out our cards, we get such a positive response, and it's so cool to be able to talk to people and say, hey, yeah, we got this podcast, and we're talking about all the stuff that you guys, we all grew up on, right? And that's what's relevant to everybody.
And we did. Here's the funny part about it, and this is what I think in my head, and maybe it's because I'm out there a little bit, we all know that, but because of the simple fact I'm thinking about these things, like when you're younger and when you're older, my life and our life of what we lived through was like pretty much almost unbelievable. It was almost like a story, like a book you read. People don't believe how great the 80s were.
Think about this for a second, because we talked about this on previous podcasts, and you guys go back and listen to them. But we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have we didn't have any of that technology, right? So it was all about word of mouth.
We weren't swiping right and swiping left.
Swiping left. We didn't do any of that shit, right? And it was just a different time, and we enjoyed that time when we had just ourselves and didn't have all this communication around technology, right?
Sure.
Where it's so different today. It's so different.
And
there's pros and cons to it. I'm not knocking it.
I was just
it's
going to
just
say,
pros and cons.
I'm
right?
with you. I was just going to say, my nephew, God bless him, he ended up meeting on a site. I just found this out. I had no idea. I talked to him and obviously his wife. They're now married. I just went out to dinner with her and asked. I was shocked. I didn't know that's how they met. I thought they met differently. And I'm like, so it shows it works, right? The dating apps and things work. It gives you an avenue to touch more people.
Yeah.
And to get to meet more people in a shorter time than what we did, right? We
Correct.
went to the clubs. We went out and met a girl. It was like luck of the draw. It's almost like winning the lottery. I mean, I won the lottery, dude. There's no doubt. When I met my wife, I won the lottery because I happened to be in the right place at the right time.
And we both went through our crossroads where we had to make decisions, right? And ups and downs or whatever. But, as they did too. But you know what? At the end of the day, you found your person. I found my person.
Sure.
And we're blessed for that,
sure.
right? But it was very different than what it is today.
And the funny thing is that we had to make this decision different. So, I look at my son and my daughter who are blessed dating some beautiful people, and I look at them and I think, God, they're the relationship that they have, they don't deviate from that. They don't go to nightclubs and look for people. They're in their relationships and building those.
Right.
We were much different than that. We were trying to get laid every night going to clubs. That was just the scene back then. Well, it's not that we're bad people.
No,
this is just what it was.
Right.
It was. So for us to
for God's sakes, you were lead singer in a band. I was lead singer in a band. What the fuck do you think is going to happen?
And the thing is that we had to make that decision, right? When it came down, came down to the women, and we met them at that point in our life when we were with girls, our wives now, and our girlfriends then. And not to put us above them, because they had the same decision.
Oh, absolutely.
So I don't want to make it sound like I'm.
No, 100%.
Okay. They had to choose: is this the fucking dickhead I want to live the rest of my life with?
Right.
And we had to make the decision of: is this the one that we're? Because the opportunity and the thing out there was real back then. It was the clubs were, you were shopping, you were in a meat market, you were doing the 159ers, all these things we talk about. This was normal for us. We lived that life. We had to make the decision, as our women did, to settle down.
Absolutely.
Now, out of all my friends, I've got quite a few friends and acquaintances over the year. All my friends, I'm the only ones married.
Well,
I pulled that trigger.
That's the point.
I pulled that trigger.
Yeah,
and I'm at the time, all my friends, fucking Lisa's a great person. I love her. She's great. And she is great. Fast forward 20, 25 years later, they're like, fuck, I should have made that decision.
Yeah.
And that's just the way that the world turns. You make your decisions as I'm not a super religious person, but I do like what people say is that God doesn't make a decision for you, dude.
No.
He just puts your options in front of you and you make the decision.
And you and I have talked about this personally, and I'm going to share this. We're getting personal here.
Sure.
So we're going to share this with the audience, right?
Why not?
This is our podcast. But, when you find that person, when you find your person, you got to hold on to that, because that's so precious, right? Because life spins around, but when you find true love in that person, you got to hold on to that, because you and I both know if your band would have made it or my band would have made it, I wouldn't be with my wife right now.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I would not.
That's
and
true.
You would not either.
That's
you
true.
know that. We
That's
talked
true.
about that,
Yeah.
right? But the fact that, whatever happened, and I'm with my wife today, and we're on 30 plus years. Same with you guys, right? I feel blessed. I'm so blessed that things worked out the way they did because I got my person.
And I
got my person.
The ironic part is that our paths crossed because of bands.
Right.
That's the funny part about it.
Right.
You know, obviously your guitarist in your old band was with my wife. That's how you guys met each other.
Right.
I don't care. You were already taken.
Right.
You know, my wife's smart. She wants to have, she needs a lead singer in her life, dude. She don't need a fucking guitar player. Some fucking prima donna guitar player too, by the way. She don't need that, dude.
No.
She doesn't.
She doesn't.
So she saw you were taken. She had to venture out. We met and it worked out.
Yeah, it
That's
did.
how it happens. But no, truthfully, I mean, we're blessed. Thank God. Beautiful children, beautiful families, all those things. We talk about our past.
Yeah.
There was a lot to navigate through back then.
For sure.
I think I think there's a little more to navigate now than then. I think that back then, but then again, I think that our minds were more of a free spirit back in the
100%,
80s.
for
Where
sure.
now I think the kids nowadays have a lot more thought process to it. We didn't think about shit, dude.
No.
We only had one head we thought about.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the one on top of our shoulders. That was the only one we fucking thought about, bro. That's the bottom line. And that's true.
Well, and even so, I mean, we talk about, my wife jokes about this now, but I was not the emotional guy today that I was back then. I mean, I didn't freaking cry in commercials like I do now because my daughter, this and that.
Sure.
Back then, I didn't fucking give a shit, dude. It's not that I didn't give a shit. It's just, I was in a different frame of mind. You know, I was independent. I was like, you just, it was a different focus, right? Where now, it's like, it's retrospective. You think about your family, your kids, and all that kind of stuff. So little things like that, a commercial of a college daughter going off to college and stuff, it means something. You know, I get a little teary eyed. My wife, she's so hardcore. She looks at me, are you fucking crying? Yeah, I'm crying. Fucking get off my shit. Yeah, I'm crying, right? But that's the way it is, right?
I cry too.
I didn't mean it. Oh my god!
So,
but seriously, that's
And I think about this. This is the weird part about it. Like so I had a DUI when I was young. Well, I had two of them, but I had a DUI when I was younger. And when I couldn't drive, obviously myself because I'd already had one. So I had my vice president in my club who used to, obviously drive us around.
Yeah.
He worked in a place in Irvine, right? But he was working at, it was like a research company, right? That they did all kinds of different research on different products and stuff.
Okay.
So I would meet him because he wouldn't usually get off about 9 o'clock at night. My dad, God bless him, God rest his soul, he would drive me up there and drop me off. Or he would drive me to the club and I would meet him. And I'm thinking, dude, my fucking dad is driving me right now. And what's he thinking? He's dropped me off in the middle of a club thinking, good luck, son. I hope you have a good night.
I was gonna say,
Good luck.
Did he ever at any point go?
And if I don't,
this is bad news bears.
If
for
I
this
don't
kid.
call him for a ride home, but I'm home in the morning,
and he's good.
how did I get there? Who brought him home?
Did he even ask that question?
What's her name?
Yeah, what's her name?
We had we had great times, dude, back then. I mean, in fact, the 80s were just unbelievable.
They were.
I mean, I wish I could take all of you listening with me on my shoulders. I wish I could put you in my fucking head. I wish you could just see what I saw.
I don't know if they want to see what's in your head, though, bro.
They might want to, dude.
There's a lot going on there, bro.
There's a lot going on, but it might be.
But I like it.
It might be.
But I
kinda
like
cool.
it.
It might be kind of cool, right? It'd be pretty bitchin'.
I do.
Yeah, it'd be like one of those VRs, bro. If I can put that shit right in your face, you might get something you never bargained for. No, but we did. We really had a lot of fun, and even nowadays, we still have a great time.
Yeah,
right?
we
do.
We want to keep it real, keep it young. Hey, we're trying, man.
We do,
really trying.
and I'm super blessed, and blessed to be with all you guys out there listening and everything. A lot of fun.
Thank you guys for
a lot
putting
of
up
fun,
with our
a lot of
shit
fun
here.
shit that we talk about and stuff. I mean, look, we did our thing, and our wives are not. They don't look at it as a negative. We don't look at them as a negative because that's just what we lived through.
Right.
And nowadays, it's not the same. The raves are pretty popping right now. Those raves are really going off right now. My nephew goes to a lot of raves, but he's part of that influential part on. On social media.
Right.
He's a big influencer, and God bless him. He's having a lot of fun. He's probably living the closest life to what we lived.
Right.
No, he's with a girl. I mean the party wise. I don't mean like the girl. I mean the party wise. He's living that closest life, which is fantastic.
Right.
He's kind of understanding the vibe what we went through.
Right.
My son, God bless him, works his ass off. He's got a great fucking job, making great money. My daughter, who's going to school, she's got a great plan.
Your kids
for
are
her future.
awesome, by the way. I love
Thank
your
you,
kids.
and yours
so
as well.
awesome.
And yours
Yeah.
as well. I mean, that's the thing. Our kids have heads on their shoulders. They want to do certain things.
Yeah.
So we're in a little different situation. And when I see my nephew, I'm like, man, he's so close to where we were. I mean, God bless him.
Yeah.
And we'll have him on, by the way. We're going to have him on, too. We're going to start doing, I think with the next couple podcasts, we're going to start doing guests. We're going to have some people on. We're going to debate about a bunch of different shit, whatever it's going to be.
And the thing, too, is like, while we're on the subject, we want to be relevant, right? I want to be in touch with my kids and what they're into and all that kind of stuff, to the point where tomorrow night, I told you, I'm taking my kids and we're going to 21 Pilots at BMO Stadium.
Yes.
I got to tell you, I'm kind of excited, man.
I would be
because,
too.
You know what? They have a lot of great songs. It's not in my realm of rock, but I enjoy their music, and so I'm looking forward to it. Man.
I was
I
excited
really
when
am.
I took my daughter to Miley Cyrus.
Right, there you go. Right, I mean,
Shit.
it's like,
A
why
party in
not?
the USA, bitch. I fucking stood up. I embarrassed the fuck out of her, but I stood the fuck up and danced around, bro. Like a
If
fucking
you
fool.
put that on right now, you and I have been fucking dancing that
and
shit.
we did that already,
We did
bro. That's
that.
what I'm talking about. No, but spend time with your kids
Yeah,
and your family is
so
important.
it's 100%,
It really is.
100%.
And you guys that are younger, that are in your 20s and 30s that listen to this, hopefully we got some demographics of that. When you listen to it, just remember, dude, I told my son this one time. It's like, dude, he was in a pissed off mood and he didn't feel like he was heard. He had his voice, whatever. And he told me, Dad, I'm not heard. I said, look, bro, when you get older as a parent, the biggest thing that I can take from it, I can tell you guys, is that, my parents did shit that I loved as a parent. That I liked the way they parented me a certain way.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of shit, probably more shit that I didn't like.
Yeah.
Like getting busted for this or doing this or whatever the case is. So as a parent, I took the things that I loved what they did, and I used that as a parenting tool. And I took the shit of what I believed in, or I should say the opposite of what maybe they did, and I used that as my parenting and put those together. That makes me a parent.
Yeah.
So that's the same thing for you guys in the future, man. When you just if you do have kids, because some won't, but if you do have kids, just remember your kids grow up based upon how you act and who you are. So
100%.
That's the bottom line. So taking your kids to the concert is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
If you guys fucking snort some line, do some fucking heroin, if you do all kinds of stuff, then that's just basically where they're going to go from that. I don't want to see them in the fucking streets of Los Angeles.
Let me tell you, right.
Okay, I just want to make sure that you take
they're good kids,
and you have great kids, dude.
No, they're great kids, and
I haven't met your daughter.
Yeah. You haven't. Yeah.
I have not met your daughter.
You got to meet Lauren.
I mean, your son's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
bro. I mean,
no,
Gavin's the fucking
yeah,
shit. He knows
is,
that.
He's
Shout
cool.
out to my boy.
Yeah.
He's the
Gavin's-
fucking. He
yeah.
better listen to this one.
He's a
goddamn
baller.
it.
He's
he's
good.
cool.
Yeah.
Gavin's a good kid.
But I
He's
want
really
you to
cool.
meet Lauren too, because she's got a good head on her shoulders, and
Oh yeah,
she's beautiful. I mean, my God,
unbelievable.
I mean, it's my daughter, but she's beautiful.
I've seen pictures.
Yeah.
So we talked about,
But no, it's great.
And to end the podcast a little bit on what we're talking about, like the friends and the families and those things. We're talking now us about like a lot of things we want to do in the future. We've grown our relationship over the last 3 or 4 years, probably.
Yep.
We've been together, and we have these things, and we try to grow it, and I have all my friends from the outside, and I love all my friends, dude. And you have some that you hang around with more than others, and,
Sure.
and it's not just because you don't want to; it's just because of demographics or
Sure.
whatever the case is. So we talked about that, and I've myself have kind of shrinked the circle, because you can only do so much. If the person really wants to hang out with you, then that's the person I want to be with. And
Yeah.
we love being with you. I mean, for our families are great. I love, you love Roy, our friends Matt. We could talk about Johnny. All your friends.
Right.
My Johnny, your Johnny.
Right.
All the friends, Billy, all those guys.
All of
Steve,
our
Cheryl.
besties.
We
yeah.
have a lot of close friends that we love to hang out with. But I do try to bring it down a little bit, and that's where we come in. This is where the podcast comes in for us, because
For sure.
before we started the podcast, we just hung out a couple times here and there, but I think this has brought us together as like more of a family.
Yeah.
I think now we're talking about, how many times are we going to get together next year to go on a trip?
Yeah.
We got to do 5 or 6 trips, and 5 or 6 trips seems like nothing.
Yeah.
We could do 20 together.
It's evolved.
We
It's
could
totally
spend
evolved.
Every other weekend. We get together so much more now than we have in the past.
Yeah.
Which just shows how we've grown the bond. And obviously, your wife and my wife are fucking besties, and then
Yep.
that's a big part too.
It's natural.
It's gonna
It
happen.
happens. Yeah.
I think
yeah.
that's where we're lucky, because we got to a point where we vibe well together and we enjoy ourselves and fucking driving down the street like fucking dumbasses,
Singing our
Asian
asses
hooker.
off.
Asian hooker.
with their cars next to us, looking at us like they're looking at us
fucker.
like, what the fuck are these guys
Smells
doing?
like sushi.
They must be fucking smoking something.
They're fucking. We're always on that shit, 24/7.
I fucking love it.
But hey, man, we really appreciate you guys
Yeah, we
hanging
do.
out with us. This is, like I said, this is not really a dedication so much just to Ace. Ace was a legendary member of Kiss, the first one that passed away. God rest his soul. We love
R.I.P.
you.
Ace.
We appreciate it. You know, Eddie, my condolences. I know you're going through a lot right now because you're being such a close friend with him. And all the families and everybody that are touched by that, our hearts are definitely touched right now. It's one of those moments. And we're going to have quite a few of them because we're getting to that age.
They're getting that point.
We are getting to
Yep,
that age.
unfortunately.
But you know what? The bottom line is, I saw a great post the other day when they had multiple artists that passed away. The touchdown says, "Just push play, and we'll be right there with you."
Oh, that's great.
And that's a big thing.
I love that.
Just push the music, play it. Don't think about where they're at today. Think about where they were then, and what they did to make that music for you to listen to it and for you to enjoy it. And the younger guys, like my nephew, my son, my daughter, all the people that go back and listen to some of the. I took my daughter Sublime. Right, I'm a big Sublime guy. I know I'm a rock guy, but I love Sublime. And we went and hung out at the show and lucky enough to get some passes and did all the fun stuff. But she loved it because it touched her, that music. So just listen to the fucking music, dude. Listen to
and
it.
for you to experience that moment with her,
Of course.
that's special. That's really special.
Of course.
Yeah.
Just have fun, man. Don't be a dick. Enjoy yourself.
Well, and sometimes, guys, we shoot from the hip. We might go off on a tangent and whatever with this podcast, but we certainly appreciate you guys just hearing us out, and hopefully this resonates in some way, shape, or form. And
I shoot from my middle leg sometimes. I'm just saying.
Is it fireworks?
Just saying. No.
But we do appreciate you guys listening.
Just so you know where I'm
at. And
The whiskey's fucking empty.
we are low on our drink, but we do again appreciate you guys, and please keep listening, and we're gonna keep bringing you guys the podcast, and like Ren says, we're gonna be consistent here. We're gonna give you guys good product, hopefully, and hopefully you guys like it.
We're gonna walk back in the house real quick and see how fucked up our chicks are. And if they're not too fucked up, we're gonna take them out for a drink right now. But if not, we're gonna be back for another podcast.
Appreciate
Thanks
you guys.
again. Rock and Ramble.
All right,
We're out.
guys, out.